Alessandra Fornetti, and I coordinate the Science Communication Unit at the Venice International University.
I'm Julia Serong. I'm the Research Director of the Munich Science Communication Lab at LMU Munich, and I'm a communication scientist and focusing on communicating planetary health.
My name is Elenora Di Maria. I'm Professor of Management at the University of Padua, Department of Economics and Management.
My name is Marina Joubert. I'm an Associate Professor of Science Communication at Stellenbosch University in South Africa.
So it's a summer school. It's a second edition that we do with our VIU members, Stellenbosch University, Munich, LMU, and the University of Padua. And it's a course of 5 days. And it includes both lecturing sessions, but a lot of work and lab. So we really expect a lot of active participation from the participants. They were also asked to provide a final work to present and share in the last day, of course. So first of all, this is the second edition of a summer school on science communication that we promote to researchers from all disciplines. And so the reason why we're doing this at Venice International University is because our work on science communication is mostly focused on researchers with the idea of enhancing their awareness towards the opportunity of best communicating their research results to society, and also to provide them with some specific skills, and hence to open up also and support more the confidence to do this kind of work.
So personally, I'm very interested in questions of quality in science communication. How can we foster a better science communication? And I think we can answer only these questions by means of dialogue and exchange. So I really like the idea of having a summer school, which we can also talk about our own conceptions of good or not so good, like bad science communication. Also at the Munich Science Communication Lab here in Munich, we are working a lot at the interface of science communication practice and research. Really try to find new ways how to cooperate. And I think the summer school is a great opportunity also for us as researchers to learn new challenges and to test also our concepts and our methods in the dialogue with young researchers who want to engage more with the public on scientific issues.
I think that the job of young researchers and researchers in general has been changed a lot. There's been a lot of attention for many years on just publishing and making some communication, but only at scientific level. Now, in all the discipline, it's becoming more and more a requirement to develop new skills in order to, let's say, transfer the knowledge to the general public, and at the same time to, especially for young scholars and PhD students, young generation that wants to develop their research career, to know more about the fact that their research should have an impact and how to transform this knowledge into really impact for society. So this summer school is really an opportunity to send this message and start to work with a lot of distinguished colleagues and institutions to provide new practices and to, let's say, increase the awareness towards our participants.
Yes, because we are actually doing the first day, and we will provide an overall introduction. So the reasons why researchers should care about communicating their research to the public and to the society. And we will do also a lab based on our tools that we developed in one of the Horizon project that we coordinated some few years ago. But the tools that we developed are really still, luckily, very actual and used. Here on my back, there is the checklist. And so because the idea is that the participants will bring home with them some really, some tools that they will use on their daily basis of work to communicate. So as it's the checklist in this case.
I can add a bit more. One of those tools we would like to present to the participants of the summer school is a conceptual framework of strategic science communication. You know, of course, when you want to do science communication, you need enthusiasm, you need a lot of intrinsic motivation, perhaps also technical skills, depending on the media you use. But we are very convinced of the fact that we also need to think strategically. So before you start your activity, think about what is it actually you want to achieve, and who is the target group? How big is the target group? How can you reach your target group? And is the format you would like to do really the best one to choose in order to reach this target group and to achieve these aims? For example, getting more attention for your issue, or changing the behavior even from citizens. Or do you perhaps adopt it? Also thinking about funding, you know, how expensive is the format you choose? What kind of hidden costs are related to realize your project? So this is what we would like to present, and also give the participants opportunity to reflect on their own projects on that. Also, another aspect where we want to give a bit more help and support is related to the strategic conceptualization of science communication, the questions of how to evaluate the science communication you are doing. So with kind of methods and also approaches, you can measure actually the outcome and the impact of what you are doing. And here we are drawing on the wide variety of social sciences methodology, and can also give practice insights, what works and what is not working so good, or at least what kind of challenges you are facing when you try to evaluate the outcome or impact of your science communication activity. Another issue we would like to highlight in the summer school is the whole question, how do we communicate about scientific issues in the context of socio-political debates? You know, we know this with topics, for example, like climate change, or also questions of democracy and societal change, also other issues. Sometimes it happens that in the public discourse, in the media, they get into contexts, you know, beyond research, which are sometimes a bit challenging and problematic, because here it's not only about communicating facts, but you're also confronted with opinions and also criticism and skepticism. And therefore we developed a kind of role play in which we enable the participants to take over different perspectives and reflect also on their own role, but also on the other side of the communication, the expectations from citizens, from politicians, but other stakeholders as well, who are interested in science communication or interested in your research findings, but may have a different view on your findings, and also perhaps might like to use these research findings in contexts which are perhaps not the first ones you thought about. And therefore we think that might be helpful to reflect upon that also, because it's not always about getting the facts right, but also to be sensitive to those thematic contexts in which your findings might get into. And I think we always try to do it very practical, you know. So we will, of course, present concepts and also theoretical approaches and findings from research so far. But we really encourage the participants to work with these findings and informations on their own project. So therefore, we ask the participants to bring their own ideas and projects, might be little ones, perhaps the findings from their thesis paper. That doesn't matter, it's not a question of size, but I think it helps always to have this personal and practical approach to really learn from what we already know.
From our side, our contribution will be focused on stakeholder engagement. So we will introduce, it's complementary to what Julia's already said, the idea of identifying the different stakeholders to explain why they're relevant and which is the path to which the scientists should, let's say, get in touch with them to try to engage how to manage the different stakeholders. And in addition to that, we will focus also on specific tools. So for instance, with social media, how the use of social media could be adapted, taking into account the messages that has to be transmitted, taking into account the targets, how to use, the direct communication that those kind of tools can, allow to spread the different messages, to how to adapt also the knowledge that is a result of the research through those channels. And at the same time, we will connect the stakeholder engagement also with fundraising processes and project. The idea is on how to explain, for instance, how to connect the result of the research into activities that could be also relevant in order to support fundraising or to get in touch with key organizations that could help the transmission of the result in a perspective or through methods that could, let's say, bring those results to a broader public.
In general, the Venice International University has now become a hub for science communication, teaching and learning and networking. And every year in the spring school or the summer school, we try to cover quite a wide range of topics related to science communication, research and practice. This year, the program is like always exciting and interesting. And my specific contribution this year will be to collaborate with Professor Lars Günther of LMU Munich. And we are going to do two sessions. The one is a little bit more on the theoretical side, where we're going to look at science communication as a field of research and practice, how it evolved and what are the current challenges and directions. So it's a little bit more of a grounding of what is the field all about and the main theories and the current developments. And then on the practice side, we are going to do a science writing workshop, but with a focus on popular science writing. How do you make your writing accessible and engaging and compelling to different kinds of audiences, and what are all the different styles of writing and some of the tips and tricks to really stand out, because I really believe that being able to write about your research is a fundamental or core science communication skill that you need for so many different kinds of science communication. It's almost like everything starts with writing. So we want to do something specific about writing. But these two examples are just a small part of what the whole spring school will be about this year. But you'll see in the program, there's a very good balance between theory and practice.
So if I go first again, so besides all the skills and the knowledge that they can certainly acquire, as you can understand for all the topics that we mentioned, certainly one feature is to create a network starting from the exchange of experience, because certainly they already have a lot of experience in science communication, and to exchange the good practices or the bad practices is something really important. And the kind of environment that we create through this kind of summer school is certainly the way that we encourage this kind of exchange and this kind of experience.
So what I've seen from previous years and some of my own colleagues and students who were able to present and to participate, it's a fantastic networking opportunity. First of all, you get to meet other people who are interested in science communication from all over the world. And the students are really involved, practically hands-on in dialogue, and they get to present, they get to participate, they get to debate. We have a lot of dialogue throughout the whole week. And they go away not only having made new friends and found new collaborators, but hopefully then also with new skills, new inspiration for research, new ideas for practice, and new ideas of how to bridge the theory and the practice of science communication, and specifically how to apply it in their own work environment and in their own research field. So we really emphasize that as well, make it relevant and make it applicable to what your challenges are. And I really like the way that the program is structured, that allows the students to do some practical work during the week, present back to the group, get constructive feedback and ideas from their fellow participants, but also from all the faculty there.
Well, what can I add? I think this is basically a very important aspect of the summer school to enable exchange also with other researchers in their own field, but also from other fields, because we always can learn from each other, although perhaps it's a different issue the others are working on. I see the summer school as a very good space to reflect on perhaps things I haven't thought about before, to get confronted with questions or aspects or effects also from science communication, which goes perhaps beyond my own format, but to understand also a bit better the role of science communication in society, in this very much changing media landscape also, and to make the right decisions, not only in view or with regard to the effects, but also with regard to my own career and my own pathway as a researcher. I think this is very crucial because, yeah, of course, science communication makes a lot of fun and is also very fulfilling, because you get in touch with many people outside of research. But then again, you also have to think about what is a kind of science communication I can also benefit from. We would like to encourage a mutual benefit approach of science communication. So we would like to empower people to engage in a science communication, which is good for the target group, but also good in some way for the researchers themselves. And I think with the different tools, but also impulses and talks we are giving, people will be more able to decide in which way they want to engage with the public and with media.
I can add just a couple of, let's say, perspective, which are much connected to what has been already said. One is the idea that the participants should, let's say, also would try to be on other shoes. So the idea that there is a lot of interdisciplinary perspective, but also they can, let's say, play the role or be the target of others, participants, kind of communication activities, and more in general, the possibility also to have and to learn also what Julia was saying about the fact that the different disciplines may have different requirements, different tools, different output of their research activities, and these could learning and listening to each other could really increase the awareness of what really are the challenges, but also the benefit on science communication. And also we are at VIU. We have not to forget about being a very international environment. So also the participants that should and would come from very different countries and cities and university would be another layer, let's say, of experience for mutual learning that usually is really effective.